Good evening everybody, happy Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed the story time with Little Miss Teach yesterday where I read the story Mr. Big. I'm not going to give it away, but if you haven't tuned in yet, you can go back and watch it. It's all on YouTube. And let me know if you have any special, unique talent, just like Mr. Big did at the end of the story. Okay, today is Tuesday. Hope you've all had a great day at school or nursery or preschool or at home, depending on the age of the children and the adults that are watching. This, I don't know if you've ever met my little mascot. This is Wilson. He is the Little Miss Teach mascot. And each week, the tutors at Little Miss Teach, they choose their star of the week. And those children's names get put into like a little hat, and at the end, just before the end of a half term at school, we put all the entries in and one name gets picked at random, and Wilson gets to spend half term with that winning star of the week. You've just had a great first half term, haven't you? You went to soft play, you met some of my students' friends, you had little sleepovers in his bunk bed, didn't you? And I also found out that he likes to eat crisps. A dinosaur that likes to eat crisps. So Wilson is going to join us today, and he might, if he's sensible, will he sit up? Will he stay there? He's going to sit there and he's going to listen to our story today, which is called The Smeds and the Smoos, written by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. You may have read this before, but you might not have. So get comfortable, whether you've got your favourite cuddly toy again, maybe a different one's joined you today, and we'll read the story of the Smeds and the Smoos. Can anyone think first before we start? Why is he called Smed? What does Smed rhyme with? Did you get it right? He's red. Smed for red. So Smo must be because he's blue. Are we ready? By a Lubula lake on a far off planet, there lived a young Smed and her name was Janet. Not far away on a humpity hill, there lived a young Smoo by the name of Bill. So we've got Smeds, which are red, and Smoos that are blue. Janet, like all the Smeds, was red, and this is what her grandfather said. Never, never play with the Smoos. They sleep in holes and they wear strange shoes. They jump about like kangaroos. Never, never play with the Smoos. Bill, like the other Smoos, was blue, and these were the words of Grandmother Smoo. Never, never play with the Smeds. They have strange hair upon their heads. They sleep in funny things called beds. Never, never play with the Smeds. The Smeds on their lake liked nothing better than splashing about, getting wetter and wetter. But Janet grew bored with this watery play, and early one morning she tiptoed away. Look at her, tiptoeing away. The Smoos jumped about on their humpety hill. They bounced up and down it and never stood still. But Bill was beginning to think, this is boring. So early one morning, he set off exploring. Oh, wonder where they're going to go. Janet met Bill in the Wirpilla wood, where the truckles grew tall and the glompoms smelled good. The two rubbed antennae and played all day long. She told him a story and he sang her a song. Then they climbed to the top of a gerberry coot and nibbled its juice and jelly for fruit. Do we think that they are making friends? The Smeds and the Smoos. Can you remember what their grandfather and grandmother said? Uh-oh. Till who should disturb them but Grandfather Smed, shaking his fist as he angrily said, "Never, never play with a Smoo. They're such a nasty shade of blue. For the 100th time I say to you, never, never play with a Smoo." Grandmother Smoo was close behind, and this is how she spoke her mind. "Never, never play with a Smed. They're such a dreadful shade of red. I'll say again what I've always said. Never, never play with a Smed." So there is the grandfather Smed, and there is the grandmother Smoo. Oh, they're not impressed, are they? Years went by on the far-off planet. Janet missed Bill, and Bill missed Janet. But off they crept whenever they could to sing and play in the Werpiller Wood. The two of them grew and decided to wed. But what do you think their grandparents said? Oh, if they're getting wed, do you know what that means? They're going to get married. Uh-oh. Never, never marry a Smed. My dearest child, are you off your head? And drink pink milk. They eat brown bread. Never, never marry a Smed. Never, never marry a Smoo. They're a beastly bunch, they're a crazy crew. They drink black tea and they eat green stew. Never, never marry a Smoo. So there they are, finding each other, playing in Werpiller Wood. And there is the grandfather Smed and the grandmother Smoo. Janet and Bill stole out that night while their family slept and the scroon shone bright. They clambered into the Smed's red rocket. Grandfather Smed had forgotten to lock it. Bill pressed the button and Janet steered. Whoosh! When their families woke, they had both disappeared. The Smed said, "Your Bill must have stolen our Janet and taken her off to a distant planet." The Smoo said, "It's Janet who's stolen our Bill," and lured him away from the Humpity Hill. The Smoos climbed into their rocket of blue, and they said to the Smeds, "You had better come too." Suspicious and scowling, they soared into space. Do you think they're going to find them? Oh. Till they reached planet Vumjum, a dry, dusty place. The Vums had long arms which they waved in the air, but they didn't have news of the runaway pair. Look at those long arms. The next step was Lurgelstrop, covered in roses and watered by beasts with small eyes and long noses. They touched down on Grimbletosh, coated in grime. They searched planet Glurch and found nothing but slime. They're still looking for Janet and Bill. One morning the Smoos found they'd run out of tea, so the Smeds shared their milk, which was pink as could be. Then Grandfather Smed said, "My hair needs a trim," and Grandmother Smoo kindly cut it for him. So I thought these Smeds and these Smoos, we read earlier in the story, weren't meant to get along. It looks like they are. They landed on Skloop, where the Skloopies wore kilts, then flew to Klaboo, where the Clabs walked on stilts. They searched all year long and they searched longer still, but they couldn't find Janet and they didn't find Bill. "Alas," said the Smoos, and the Smeds said, "Alack, we have failed in our quest. We had better turn back." So they turned and flew home to their very own planet, and far down below them they saw, what do you think they saw down below them? Bill and Janet! The rocket touched down and they ran to the wood where the truckles grew tall and the glompoms smelled good. And there in a glade by the rocket of red were the runaway Smoo and the runaway Smed. They'd get lost and flown home again, only to find that all of the others had left them behind. There was joy, jam and jumping. Then Janet said, maybe you'd like to make friends with our dear little baby. A baby? A red one? Blue one? But no. So there they are, all returned back home. What colour's the baby gonna be? Is it gonna be a Smed or a Smoo? The baby was purple from head to toe. They all had the Smoo Smed, their new baby brother, and Grandpa and Gran even hugged one another. They laughed and they splashed and they danced with delight, and they played with the baby from morning till night. They made him a rattle, they made him a flute, they fed him the fruit of the gerberry coot. So think about that next time. The colours red and blue make purple. Then they sang by the light of the silvery scroon, and you can sing too if you make up a tune. Play with the Smeds and play with the Smoos, play with whichever friends you choose. Then close your eyes, and while you snooze, dream of the Smeds and dream of the Smoos. So it just goes to show, even though some people are different, it still means that you can still be friends. The Smeds and the Smoos are both different, but they became the best of friends. They got married and had a little baby. What a great story. Hope you enjoyed that, and I shall see you again tomorrow. Have a great day at school tomorrow.